PA hunting season, where buck fever runs as rampant as the deer themselves and turkeys thunder over the hills. If you're lucky, you may find yourself with a coveted elk tag, but that's not what we're here for today. Join me as I partake in my very first big game hunting season as I try to take down a buck and a fall tom.
You sniffing me? I know I smell. Alright, so I'm going to go over some of the gear that I'm using for this hunt. Don't mind Moose. He's obsessed. But this is taken at the very, very end. And I'm pretty much just going to take it all off. Not all of it. But in reverse order of how you put it on. So my very top layer, I have a Silent Hide jacket. It works really well. Definitely made me a lot more warmer. It has this very nice inside pocket, which perfectly put. I was able to put the any aerosol can of lure in it, deer attractant, anything like that. And you also have a chest pocket here. And here, I would stash either my phone or binoculars. For binoculars, I just have some Bushnell. I think they're $39. I think they're the Power View, but I could be wrong. I got these last year sometime. And this does come with a hood. I took the hood off because I have a hoodie on underneath. And I wear a hat. I don't like hoods too much. So it does have a removable hood. And then also the very ends of the sleeves cinch shut with Velcro, which is also important for me because it's actually a men's coat. They did not have any in the women's, which would be the She Outdoors. Didn't have any in my size. For gloves, I'm using these Cabela's Guidewear. They're actually fishing gloves. I'll come up closer here. They have a zipper on the side, so they're really nice and they fit like a glove. But they have these grips. I don't know if you can tell on camera. I'm trying to get them to shine. But it has like a fish scale pattern grip underneath. So I still have a good amount of grip. I wish I had these for archery season. I got these later in the season during rifle because I did not like the gloves I had prior. The gloves I had during archery season were just these liners. And I quickly learned that I do not like fingered gloves for this. I do not like having that excess fabric when I'm operating any form of trigger mechanism. These did keep my hands warm enough during the early season, but I just didn't like it. I ended up taking off one glove the entire time, so just my left hand was gloved. So I actually lost one of the gloves in the meantime, but these were the She Outdoor liner gloves. They are okay. They also have a grippy in it, but not as pronounced as these do. And I believe these were 30. But these are fishing gloves. Very nice and thick. They're windstopper. And you have full dexterity. They're a little tight on my hand, but I prefer that over having the excess fabric, like I said. And one thing that I think is actually kind of smart on these that I've never actually seen on any kind of other glove, maybe I'm just missing out on the good gloves, is it has a little button on the very inside of the cuff, right here, where once you're done using them, you can snap them together, and then you can actually hang them up just like this. So that's what I'm doing with these so I don't lose them, or they're probably just going to stay in the sportsman trunk. As for head, I have this beanie. There's a red head switchable beanie. I got orange, and of course the Strata, which is of course what the pattern I chose is. I was just able to find more in this pattern that was available at the time of me purchasing things, so that's why I ended up with this. I did want to go with the Kanadi because it's definitely more natural looking, but this does fine. For the next layer, I have these bibs. These are also Silent Hide. You have two kind of breast pockets here, so you can stick your hands in like this, and then you have these bottom pockets as well. Again, I ended up having to get a men's size, which scales pretty well to me. I have a weird body type, so all of you women out there that look like a linebacker, don't be afraid of getting the men's clothing. Moose has a bone. So if you hear something flying through my floor. That's what it is. But these ended up very nice to have. I learned very, very quickly that even though I'm pretty good in the cold, sitting still for multiple hours ain't it. It's just not it. I don't care how many hand warmers you got on. It ain't happening. So these were definitely worth the money. These were $70. And these are about the cheapest insulated bib that I could find personally. Is there, a mossy oak bib of sorts at Walmart that is also insulated and good? Probably. Is it this good? I do not know. I couldn't say for sure. But they all do kind of come in the same price range. I'm just using what I utilized. And it does have back pockets as well, but they have buttons. So then, let's see. I have this baklava, and it is one of those ones where it is both the full head and just the mask. It's somehow turned around on me throughout the day. But yeah. So if I did not want to wear a hat, I still have a full head cover. But for the most part, I don't like this around my eyes as much. It covers more, but it's, I don't know, after a while of moving my head around, it kind of starts to do that, and it gets annoying. And with the head cover already on, I had a tendency of just wearing it like this. Earlier in the season, I was running with this kind of face cover. It's a hat face cover combo, and I kind of liked it. It's got a little pocket in the brim actually, so if you wanted to, I'll put turkey call in there, I guess, one of the reed calls. You can jam it in there if you really wanted to. But this was nice. Just display it quick. The only qualms I had about this is, again, he doesn't like the masks. It does not sit very well on the face. So again, it's coming up really close to my eyes. And that becomes very annoying. Like, it's just underneath my eyelids. And you get over it pretty quickly, but it gets a little annoying, and then, like, it just keeps crawling up to the point where it's like this. And it's, like, in your eyes. And then this is also annoying. But the more annoying part is the brim. So this doesn't work for archery, at least for compound. Because when I put the string into its anchor points, which would be the cheek and then the nose, the brim is touching the string. So I'm not able to properly anchor it. And then that's bad. So I ended up ditching this pretty early on. So halfway you'll see that I switched to this other baklava. They ended up being both the same price, it's just this comes with the hat. So this would be good for rifle, but I don't like it for archery personally. Next up, I have a hoodie. It's like a $10 hoodie I got on Black Friday from last year. Just a generic hoodie. It's not thick or anything special. And then underneath all of those layers, this is not for archery season, obviously, but during rifle, I was hunting with a Remington Game Master 30-06. Now, the largest rifle I've ever used is a 22. That being said, I am not used to the kickback on a 30-06. So, to prevent myself injuring, and also kind of, skitzing myself out and psyching myself out, I got some added protection. This is PAST Recoil Protection. This is a thicker pad. It's $30. If you're new to firearms, just get it, because you'll be more confident using them. Ergo, you'll be much more effective using them. And then, once you're more comfortable about it, you can ditch it after all. But I'm very pro doing things in the most comfortable manner for you before, kind of being a show-off. And this just clips around. Women hunters, you'll be glad to know that this does work on the female body, as you can see. And actually, on the packaging, they're boasting that they make these almost specifically for female shooters. So, If that applies to you, or if you have a wife or a daughter who you want to get into hunting or wants to get into hunting and they're kind of iffy about rifles, get them one of them. They'll be a lot more confident. And then on my very base layer, I just have a long sleeve $12 Strata Redhead shirt. So, nothing fancy there. In terms of pants, try to show it off. In terms of pants, I think these are the She Outdoor Adventure pants. They're not insulated at all. So this is pretty much what I was wearing for early season archery, plus the hoodie if it got especially cold. But that's about it. This is plenty warm for me. I like the cold, but like I said, at some point you start to get into that. It's too cold. For footwear, this was late season. I have these Irish Setters. These, I don't know what they're called exactly. Ultra Dry. Yeah, it's not saying what style of Irish Setter, but they do have 1,600 grams of insulation in them, and they also have these BOA. So if you've never seen one of these, they're pretty nice. Think of Velcro, but for adults. You just crank it down, and it allows you to get it nice and tight against your foot. And then just to release it, you pull that out and it releases. Very easy to put on, nice in the mornings when you don't want to fight with your pants legs and try to get a nice tie on there, and then, you know, it's going to untie later on anyway. So there's all the clothing gear. In terms of what physical gear we used, I got this 3 years ago. I do not believe this bow is available anymore to the store, but I also believe they replaced it with the Blackout series. So, very likely it just got rebranded. And yes, I know my quiver is on upside down. It doesn't fit the other way with the sight on it. Eventually I'm going to probably change my sights to something else, but for now I'm rocking with this because we're balling on a budget here, obviously. So I'll go over the arrows then, but first, the bow. This would be a Cabela's Optimus. It is in around 50 pounds right now. I can definitely go up a size, which I'll be working on that this summer. I'll be trying to aim for 60 pounds to maybe even 65, 70. The more the merrier. But what this came outfitted with was the Trophy Ridge sight, a Trophy Ridge Whisker Biscuit, and then a Trophy Ridge stabilizer. So pretty much everything on here is Trophy Ridge. I did end up getting a kisser button. My partner has the same exact bow, so this helps us differentiate who has what. They have a pink one, but also it just helps me remind myself to put this in the corner of my mouth, which you'll see later. It didn't help too much, apparently. Still sour about it. In terms of when I tried to record this, I just attached this is a bicycle handlebar mount for a GoPro on the stabilizer. And it works pretty decent. Unfortunately, it is about an inch low from the arrow, which seems fine, but you'll see later on in this video. Pretty much, you have to be careful where it's aiming, or else it might be blocked by, say, a blind. So, arrows we use. Tine Dropper from Deer Crossing Archery. I met these guys at the Harrisburg Sportsman Show, which I forget what time of year that comes, but it's a gigantic sportsman show. If you're near Pennsylvania or in Pennsylvania, you're into, any kinds of sportsman things, definitely recommend going there. There was also a place called the Dollar Tackle Shop, and man, was it good. But anyway, met these guys. I got a dozen arrows for $50. These are 450 grain carbon arrows, ended with Grim Reaper Whitetail Special mechanical broadheads. So, these pop out. Pretty much what I have for gear. Notice it's not a lot, and notice it is all cheap stuff from Cabela's or Bass Pro. Well, I'm poor, balling on a budget. That's one of the points of this channel. But also, I think this is very reasonable for, someone who's just getting into the sport, and also for any of you guys that are watching, if you just want to get into the sport, or, you're trying to find that segue in, you're not being completely bombarded with people saying, no, you gotta get Sitka, you gotta get this, that. Sitka's expensive, although it is very warm. Incredibly warm, in fact. I'm jealous of how warm it is, but it's also not $350 for a hand muff warm. So, you can do this low cost. Our great grandfathers hunted in a red plaid shirt and blue jeans. I don't recommend the blue jeans because deer can't see color, but they can see patterns. But the flannel is still very viable. Get a green flannel. Spray paint some old jeans. Do whatever. Even if you just buy the hunting pants and do a red flannel, you're good to go. So get out there and get what you can. The bow package, by the way, was like $350. They're still that price. I only know because sometimes I eyeball them. And you can get a bear around the same price. I believe Bear actually makes those bows, but don't quote me on that. Kind of like how Great Value makes the same things. But anyway, see you in the field and get ready for a lot of something.
Alright, so we do have a few bucks on camera back in July. As you can see from stealth cams, these are game cameras that my stepdad has set up around the property. Um, we did have these two 6, 8-ish point bucks come in frequently, as well as this doe and the fawn. Now, the does, I've seen plenty. I think it's specifically this one as well, because there was one doe that kept showing up with like a yearling fawn. So that's pretty much what we're looking for. There was also a very, very wide 8 point that was showing up, and he looked straight at the camera. I really wish I caught a screen capture of our little game camera screen thing that we used to read the cards, and I did not think about it at all. So this was our first location. It was a ground blind kind of tucked next to a pine tree, and it outlooked over into a little bit more of an opening and towards the wood line. It had a pretty good view of the whole area, and quite a few doe did stop right ahead. Now, we did have this vole break in quite frequently. He was very annoying and tried to break into my bag quite a few times. I guess it was trying to scavenge any kind of wool or fabrics for its nests. But, yeah, we were seeing some doe and hopes were high. Turkey sightings, doe, fawn, no bucks yet though. So what just happened there? Well, what had happened was I was peeking outside the back door of the blind and I noticed that there was a small flock of turkeys coming around the side. Problem was, my stepdad also saw it from the tower blind that he was in, that was kind of facing towards me, so we were looking at the same field. I heard him take his shot. He missed. They did not move. They looked at the arrow in the ground, or the bolt, I should say. Then I took my shot. What I didn't do, and failed to do, because I got way too excited about these turkeys being here and finally being able to take something home, is I did not pay attention to my anchor points at all. Not a single thing. If I looked through that peep sight and saw the pins, I was good to go. Nothing else. So the first shot went to the left. Then I frantically tried to get a second arrow. These turkeys are still not boogieing out of here. They are a little dumb. Take my second shot. Goes to the left again. Because I didn't learn from the first time. Yeah. It still hurts to talk about it. I hate it. But I lost one arrow that day. I was able to reclaim one of them in the woods, but the other is still MIA. So no turkeys were taken that day, and somehow they all escaped death 3 times over within a 5-minute interval.
Okay, guys, this is my first morning hunt. It is pitch black outside. I cannot see anywhere in front of me. Yesterday, a hurricane blew through. Kind of. Not really. In Pennsylvania, you kind of just get the outskirts of the hurricane anytime it comes up the coast. So it was rainy, windy, all of the above. Nothing that dramatic, but it down some power lines. But I was supposed to go out yesterday afternoon, and that didn't happen. So here I am at 5:30 in the morning in the pitch black. But apparently there is some movement up here, so here's hoping. They would come in right along that little ridge line on the top. They were just boogieing on through, heading that direction. And I tried to call one in closer. If they were close enough, I'd risk the shot in the dark, but they weren't. So I'm going for, through the trees at a small distance. In the dark when I can't see my sights very well. Nor verify how many antlers are on, not antlers, but points. In PA, it needs to have 3 points on one side minimum. So your smallest buck you can have is a 5-point or a really weird looking 4-point, I guess. Not looking good for the day. I did have a doe come in real close, right around, let's see, 6:30, 7 o'clock. When it was just bright enough out, she'd come in right in this little field here, right in front. I could throw a rock at her. And I was hoping maybe one of them that ran that way, because she came from that way, was going to follow her through. At least I know my scent control's working, because she sniffed the air and did not spook at all. That was an issue last time. They would come through and smell me when they were standing that close. But she ended up going up there. And just nothing followed her through. Alright, so once again, nothing. Or at least the last time the same things happened, where I seen a buck can like barely see my pegs on my sight. But they are out here. It's almost 8 o'clock and the wind's picking up real bad. Apparently we're supposed to have 30 miles per hour wind, which isn't gonna do very good. So, early morning. I haven't seen too much. I've seen 3 doe. They came right through in front of me. But again, no bucks for some reason. They're just not chasing. Unfortunately, we're at archery season. So I'm here with my 30-aught, not mine, but my stepdad's 30-06. I don't own a rifle big enough yet. As I'm sure you can hear, there are shots going out everywhere around me. So here's something when pops out soon.
So as I said in the previous little area, this is the beginning of rifle season, day 1. The one day that everyone really starts to swarm the woods. Now this is private land, but all the properties around us were partaking. I gotta say, this was the worst part of it. Like, I moved into the tower stand my stepdad was in, as I showed. But the only thing I seen was this woodpecker and some squirrels. One morning I saw a doe with 2 fawns, but that is it, and I seen her only one time. So, I don't know. I really don't. They're supposed to be more active now.
So we are changing our approach angle. Nothing is showing up near those stands. This is private property. It's just a random bike rider.
I was so flabbergasted about this bike rider because in order to get here, you have to pass at least 3 signs that explicitly say private property and like a gate. So I was really just confused. He's on a road behind us. It's a dirt road. I don't know what his thought process was. He was hacking up a lung while he was there too. So good on you, bud. You made my day a little worse that day.
You've got to be shitting me. Anyway, I ain't seen nothing in the spots that we've been sitting in all season. So I made an executive decision to change spots. Right now I'm sitting on top of like a little tiny cliff overlooking some ponds. There's a nice big grassy spot down there. There's some acorn trees, water, and of course edible plants growing along the sides of the ponds. The only way to get up to the upper field is for them to be walking around these ponds. So in theory, anything that's coming from that side up to the fields behind us to eat at night should be taking these paths. So anything over there, all the way to over here, should pass directly in front of me or beside me. I don't know what I'm going to do if they come up behind me, but we'll get there when we get there. Move very carefully, I guess. But yeah, this is the plan so far. Let's see and hope it works. I might actually climb back down and spray that stump there with a ton of doe and eustrus. Because I sprayed some up here, but the wind's going behind me. So it's not really heading that direction. And the problem is it's a lot of noise to get up here. Yeah, it's still only 12. Alright, it is the very last day of PA rifle season, at least for 4C. I think it's throughout the entire state, but I only know really for 4C. Expectations are low, very low. My stepdad has been talking to the neighbors around the property. Not a single person got a deer. Not a clue where they went. I don't know how absolutely nobody got one. There was 2 6 points, a very wide 8 point, and then some Y bucks running around this summer. As to where the hell they all went is beyond anyone's guess. Now, a lot of people are saying they went completely nocturnal this year. Don't know how true that is, but nobody seems to be having any form of luck with getting these bucks. So, last day, early morning hunt. Hopefully, I spot one of those Y bucks. We think that they're technically 6 points, because the brow tine, they have little tiny brown tines, which will make them legal to shoot as long as they have a Y. So 3 points on one antler. That's the only thing. It could have 3 points on one antler and missing another antler. It's still technically legal. So yeah, it's around 5:30. I stopped at Dunkin' to get a quick breakfast, some good old wake up reps, and hot chocolate. Here is hoping. I'm not sure if I'll be hunting late season archery because, from what everyone has told me, it is stupid difficult to hunt because then they're really not moving. So you have to try to jump them out of their spots. And just for the inexperienced hunter, probably not the best thing. But in my mind, if you don't try, you don't know. So we might try. I'll probably go with some small game heads as well, so I can take rabbit and squirrel, whatever else I see happen to jump up or see, because I do not believe you're allowed to carry both a rifle and a crossbow with you. Not crossbow, compound. So I'll just get some small game heads so that I can do both. I don't think there's any rule against that. The only problem I have is if there's ice on the water, I'll be ice fishing every day off. So who knows? If the ice is nice and thick, I'm going out ice fishing because I know that I have better chances of getting something that way than aimlessly walking around game lands trying to spook a deer out of its bed and then hopefully getting it before it runs off. Like, fully is gone. So I don't know. Not a clue. I'll record it, whatever happens. I guaranteed there will be a recording, but I have no clue what's going to actually happen. I have zero plans for it. It's just a guess of an idea at this point. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and eat my breakfast. And there will be a slide after this with either a very happy me with a dead deer, or it'll be a black slide that says, yeah, nothing showed up.
So there you have it. That is how my very first big game hunting season went. It ended in a failure. Pretty common story, actually, I think. But I do have some points at the end here. Mistakes made. One of my biggest ones that I'm regretting is not getting a doe tag. I had multiple chances to take like a doe from seriously day one going out to almost the last day, and since I didn't have a tag, I simply did not have the opportunity. Another thing that I wish I, you know, had more effort put into was my practice with the bow. I could have definitely taken that turkey if I were to pay attention to my anchor points and did not make a rookie mistake of getting way too excited about it and just forgetting all throw everything to the wind. Just do it. It's not how that works. So definitely like stealing myself more during that would have helped a lot, and I would have a turkey in the fridge by then. So those are my two big mistakes. Those are the big gleaming ones. Anything else would be simply boiled down to luck. I definitely want to put in more hours next year. I work 40 hours a week. I don't have a lot of time, especially considering my weird schedule. There's no way for me to even go out in the early mornings or late afternoons while also working due to when sundown and sunrise is. So definitely want more there as well. But I hope you enjoyed coming with me on this little journey, and I hope to see you next year. And maybe next year we will catch that big buck on camera. I doubt it, but we can hope. And hey, if nobody got one this year, they're just gonna be bigger next year. So we're gonna remain positive. Stay wild, guys.